Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett called Governor Abbott Governor Hot Wheels. And yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. I didn't agree with that. And obviously you didn't either. You went on X. You said this woman is trash. But I would never take it that far. But on November 24th, 2015, Donald Trump mocked a disabled reporter, Serge Kowalski. He flailed his arms, made fun of his voice, and made fun of his face. And I looked up and down your X account. I couldn't find a single tweet calling him trash for that. You called Elon Musk a genius. I looked at his X account. He uses what's considered the R word over 14 times in just the year 2024 alone. He actually posted it again this morning, talking about the trade advisor guy. And again, you worship that guy. So I want to know why you hold the left and Democrats to different standards than you do the right and Republicans.
Charlie Kirk gets confronted by a liberal student over supposed double standards and hypocrisy. But Charlie Kirk doesn't flinch. Instead, Charlie Kirk calmly breaks it all down, exposes the weak arguments, and shows why conservative states are actually thriving while liberal ones are falling apart. Let's listen.
Well, first, I worship Jesus Christ. I don't worship Trump or anyone. But yeah, fair enough. I understand what you're saying. There's a lot to unpack there. So, first, what does your shirt say? I'm curious.
Oh, it says rigged election, call it blue steel. Shout out Zoolander.
Oh, okay. Got it. Was the last election rigged? I'm curious.
This 2024?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. Got it.
No.
So fair enough. So what you're asking, first of all, Trump never mocked a New York Times reporter. It's just been disproven like 10 times. The reporter himself even said that Trump didn't do that. But yeah, I mean, you're trying to find hypocrisy because Jasmine Crockett made fun of the fact that the governor of Texas can't walk. That is trash, by the way. A tree fell on this guy while he was going for a jog, and now he's in a wheelchair, and she makes fun of that. I think that's trashy behavior, right?
Yeah, it is, and I agreed with you. But he did mock the reporter. Anybody could go to TikTok right now. And look it up.
Again,
it's on video.
Again, this has been literally.
It was on every major media news outlet.
Again,
you can look it up.
This is 10 years old. I mean, you were like 8 when this happened, probably, right? Yeah.
I think I was 9. Just answer the question, bro. Come on.
Yeah, he didn't mock the reporter. The reporter himself came out and said that Donald Trump was not mocking me. Okay.
You can see the video.
Again, this is like a decade-old hoax. And by the way, do you got anything more recent that we can talk about than something that Trump said at a rally in 2015?
Yeah.
Okay, a decade ago.
Okay. Over the past couple of years, Donald Trump went on his Truth Social and he would always mock Joe Biden's stutter. Joe Biden had it he had a stutter. Like that was just.
Do you think Joe Biden was all mentally there throughout his presidency?
No, I don't. But he's had a stutter his whole life. And are you going to make fun of him because he's not mentally there?
Outside of the stutter, Donald Trump never made fun of the stutter. He made fun of the fact that Joe Biden was not mentally capable to be president of the United States, and we were lied to about it for 4 years. Who signed these executive orders? That's what he was making fun of. And honestly, not even making fun of. It was a sad moment in America when our own president didn't know what door to walk through, where they literally had to have tape on the ground saying, go this way and go this way, where he had to read a teleprompter and he kept on saying, thank you very much, stop speaking. I mean, you saw that debate. I saw that debate. Outside of making fun, it was a tragedy for America that we elected a quasi-brain-dead individual to be president of the United States.
Okay, but that had nothing to do with what my original question was, Charlie.
No one made fun of his stutter. I'm trying to so actually, let me go back to something you said. You said you've studied Republicans and conservatives a lot. Why don't you
the policy?
Why don't you tell me what we believe?
You want to limit spending. You want to limit government spending. Essentially, in theory, run the government like a business. Try to make money and profit off of it.
What else? That's one of many things. Just I want to try to make sure at least we can have clarity about what we believe. Right?
You play into religious traditional values a lot. The modern day Republican, man versus woman, abortion is bad, all that stuff. You got a very interesting crowd here, man. That's pretty interesting.
Vivacious. So let me ask you a question. Out of all 50 states, there are some that are Republican, some that are Democrat. You as a liberal, if you had to point to a state that was the ideal, that is the best run state in the country, what state would you point to?
Well, I don't study states. I don't figure out
No,
what
that's
state's
fair.
the
But
best
if you had to say a state that you think is doing things in alignment with your worldview, that is doing a good job? If you had to pick one or two states, what would they be?
I'm perfectly content here in the state of Illinois. I think it's a nicely run state. I love having a $15 minimum wage.
Okay, but
I appreciate that.
Fair enough. And we'll just disagree. If Illinois was so well run, why does it keep on losing population?
I don't think it is.
No, it's a fact. In the census, Illinois lost well over 1 million people the last decade. In fact, every 9.5 minutes, someone leaves the state of Illinois.
Who is it that's leaving, though?
Young people that go to school at ISU.
No, it's
people,
Republicans.
Well,
how can you judge a Democrat state because Republicans don't like it?
Well, actually,
that's just common sense right there.
Well, people of both
if
parties
I lived in Alabama,
are leaving.
I would hate living in Alabama, and I would want to leave Alabama.
Well, first of all, the trend of people leaving Illinois started well before. Actually, it started even when when Bruce Rauner was governor of the state. The trend was continuing. 1 million people over a decade. So, as a liberal, I just want to have you. And by the way, it's not just Illinois. I want you to explain to me why so many people are leaving California, so many people are leaving Illinois, leaving New York, leaving New Jersey, and yet people are going to net increase to Arizona, to Texas, to Florida. Why is that?
I don't study that. I don't.
No, that's okay.
That's not what I came here to talk.
Fair
about.
enough,
That's
but
not
no,
what I
it's
brought
something
up.
to think about because as a liberal, maybe people are voting with their feet because states like Illinois and California and New York are so terribly run with high taxes and bloated pension systems and radical left-wing ideas, outside of all the back and forth and the gotchas or whatever, getting down to the concrete issue. Our worldview is so popular that millions of people are moving to states that share our worldview, where millions of people are leaving the states that share your worldview. Just based on that, we kind of can contest that our worldview is more popular and therefore closer to reality and actually right.
Thank you, Charlie.
Well, I wouldn't say your worldview is more popular. Trump didn't win majority of the votes in the popular vote.
Well, no, he did.
No, he won less than 50%.
Well,
more people voted for somebody else.
He won the plurality of the electoral.
I'm not saying more people voted for Kamala.
He won the
than
popular
him, just
vote,
in total.
Yeah.
He did. Yes, he didn't win majority though.
Right. So just to be clear, winning a majority of the popular vote is incredibly unusual. Usually you win a plurality, not a majority, but he still won the plurality.
Yes,
he won 48%. He also won an electoral vote kind of landslide. Last question here. What do you think that conservatives get right? What do you think that we as conservatives, one thing you agree with from our perspective?
100% the taxes. I understand that completely, but I feel like we're taxing the wrong people. I'm a tax the rich kind of guy. That's just my thing.
What is your definition of what is rich?
More specifically, the top 1%.
Okay. So if the 1% is taxed to such a great extent, why wouldn't they just leave? And then who's going to build our businesses, build our companies, and pay the exorbitant amount of taxes?
Yeah, see, this is where Charlie Kirk really nails it. I don't think a lot of people realize that the 1% isn't just billionaires on yachts. A lot of them are small business owners who took risks, built something, and now get punished for it. Charlie Kirk is just saying, if you keep pushing them out, who's left to carry the economy?
Small business owners?
Got it. So, again,
I thought you guys were the small business party.
No, we are, but at some point, just so you know, a large portion of the 1% are the ones that own the small businesses. You need both capital and labor. That's fine. I'll just say this in closing. I hope you keep on studying, keep on asking questions, and ask people in this audience, why they believe what they believe. And I want you to think more deeply over the next couple days, weeks, and years. If Democrat policies were so successful, if they were so great, people would be going out of their way to go to Democrat states. Instead, they're going out of their way to go to Republican states. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Can I get a hat?
Yeah, sure.
I like souvenirs.
All right. It's definitely a souvenir. You're very polite. Thank you, sir. Yes.
Have a nice day, Charlie.
Thank you.
So yeah, this student tried to call out Charlie Kirk, but it totally backfired. Charlie Kirk stayed calm, used actual facts, and exposed the weak spots in the student's arguments. And Charlie Kirk didn't need to get loud or emotional. He just let reality do the talking. That's why when Charlie Kirk shows up to these college campuses, he doesn't just hold his ground. He dominates.